Masks Up, your news recap, and Royce sings John Denver on this edition of State of the Bands Weekend, starting right now. Hello and welcome to Arbitrage State of the Bands Weekend for July 31st, 2021. I'm Joshua Stark. States and businesses scrambled this week to change course after the federal government issued new guidance calling for the return of mask wearing in virus hotspots amid a dramatic spike in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations nationwide. Nevada and Kansas City were among the locations that moved swiftly to reimpose indoor mask mandates following Tuesday's announcement from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The guidelines also call for all schools to require masks for students, teachers, and visitors, and districts around the country try to navigate the latest advice. The Biden administration is taking steps to harden cybersecurity defenses for critical infrastructure, announcing on Wednesday the development of performance goals and a voluntary public-private partnership to protect core sectors. The actions outlined in an order from President Biden are an acknowledgement of the cybersecurity vulnerabilities of critical industries, a reality made clear by the May hack of the nation's largest pipeline, which delivers about 45% of the fuel consumed on the East Coast. They are also meant to address the patchwork of sector-specific statutes that have been adopted piecemeal over time and that leave the government without a uniform or adequate cybersecurity threshold, according to a senior administration official who briefed reporters before a formal announcement. The partnership was launched as a pilot program in April with electricity utilities. Spurred by skyrocketing consumer demand during the pandemic, restaurant delivery companies like DoorDash and Uber Eats are rapidly expanding their services to grocers, convenience stores, pharmacies, pet stores, and even department stores. On Wednesday, Uber Eats unveiled its newest delivery option, Flowers. Uber Eats will let users order flowers directly from its app as part of a partnership with ProFlowers, an FTD subsidiary. Flower delivery will be offered first in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and a few other cities, but it will be available nationwide by early next year. If we can deliver your burrito in 30 minutes or deliver your ice cream still frozen, we should be able to deliver anything in under an hour, said Fuad Hannon, the head of new verticals at DoorDash. He went on to say that they have technology that makes that possible.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work.
Sorry, I'm late.
Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Google is postponing a return to the office for most workers until mid-October and rolling out a policy that will eventually require everyone to be vaccinated once its sprawling campuses are fully reopened. The announcement came as the new, more highly contagious Delta variant is driving a dramatic spike in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations. In an email sent to Google's more than 130,000 employees worldwide, CEO Sundar Pichai said the company is now aiming to have most of its workforce back to its offices beginning October 18th instead of its previous target date of September the 1st. The decision also affects tens of thousands of contractors who Google intends to continue to pay while access to its campuses remains limited. News and more next on Arbitrage Trade State of the Bands Weekend. Stick around. This week's State of the Band's blog includes, "Hey brother, can you spare $15? Forget stocks, give me games, and country roads, take me home." All of this and more in this week's State of the Band's blog, available now at arbitragetrade.com. Now, let's go to the president and CEO of Arbitrage Trade Analytics, Mr. Royce Wells, for more. Royce?
How you doing, Josh?
Take me home.
I can't. The bridge is currently broken.
You know, I hear it's actually going to be open by the end of the week.
Really?
Yes.
Even after finding additional cracks?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
All right, I guess I won't move.
So, what we're actually talking about is West Virginia, right?
Yeah, West Virginia, exactly. West Virginia wants people to move there, Josh. And I'm half tempted.
I am as well. Tell them about it.
Well, they're giving about $12,000 to anyone who voluntarily decides to move there. There's only one catch. It's divided over about 2 years, but they give you access to all of their whitewater rapids, all their rental equipment. If you have a work-from-home job because of COVID-19 and you're choosing to work from home, you can literally live outside out there and have all the amenities, and they'll pay you to stay. Kind of nice, huh?
Nice. Okay, so just to clarify, from what I understand, they're giving you $12,000 over 2 years.
Yes.
$10,000 monthly over the first year, and then $2,000 at the end of the second year. Not only that, but they're giving you incentives through the state parks, and they'll give you, for example, a canoe rental or a cabin or something like that. $8,000 worth of extra incentives. So technically speaking, 20 grand.
I don't know anyone that will just give me 20 grand. So this sounds like it's too good to be true. But so is it really true?
It is actually true. I actually looked it up. It is an actual website. It is Ascend VA. Is that right?
I believe so. Yes, you are absolutely. Actually, no, not
Nope.
VA. WV. For West Virginia.
For West Virginia. There we go. So you go to Ascend WV and you fill out the application. They get back with you. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Jim Justice is a man of the people. Did you hear what else he's doing because of COVID-19?
What's that?
Well, to encourage people in the age range of, I think, 18 to 35, he's literally giving them $100 a piece to literally go get the COVID-19 vaccination. In the state of West Virginia alone, there's over 380,000 citizens that are in that age demographic. So this is just free money. I really wish I was still between that age group.
Yeah, me too. I was trying to do the math there. I'm not that far out of that age group, and I need some money. I don't know about you.
Yeah, me too. But before you get too excited about all that, did you hear about the guns? Jim has also got rid of the taxes on guns. So basically, you get to live on the range, you get to have as much money, and you basically get to have as many guns as you like. So it sounds like a win-win-win all the way around for me.
We'll be back in a moment on Arbitrage Trade State of the Bands Weekend.
If getting the most out of your investment is important to you, then beware of cheap entertainment when planning your next party. Omega Sound and Entertainment is a Hall of Fame mobile DJ company that travels the country, specializing in once-in-a-lifetime events from weddings and private parties to corporate events and more. For your once-in-a-lifetime event, invest wisely. Invest where the search for premier entertainment ends. Omega Sound and Entertainment. Online at OmegaSoundDJs.com or Omega Sound DJs on Instagram.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that we can give our daughters everything they need to grow and learn. But not every child can focus on classes and play dates.
Nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. face hunger. That's 1 in 6. School lunch might be their only meal each day, and it's heartbreaking to imagine any child going to bed hungry. We're dreaming of a perfect day when kids can smile, play, and just be kids without worrying about where their next meal will come from. Feeding America is working to make that perfect day a reality.
Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. That food is given to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about doing things that make an ordinary day extraordinary. Learning to play an instrument, building a sandcastle, hosting tea parties. Hunger should never be an obstacle to growing up.
You can help end childhood hunger in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Forget Forex, Deep Six stocks. Find me a sealed copy of Super Mario 64. No, seriously. A sealed copy of Mario 64 recently sold at auction for a whopping $1.56 million. Yep, you got that right. The distinguishing marks for this sale is that Wada Games, a games grading firm, graded this particular copy a rare 9.8, making it the highest graded copy on record. Not bad for a 25-year-old game. But wait, there's more. A WADA graded 9.0 early production Legend of Zelda for the NES sold at Heritage Auctions for a head-snapping $870,000. This Zelda auction began with an astonishing opening bid of $110,000, yet that amount was merited by its particular rarity. The copy in question was part of a late 1987 production run dubbed NES-R, which preceded the game's wider initial production run in early 1988, dubbed Rev-A, as per a marking on its box. The latter was a much wider run and coincided with the console's explosion in American popularity, so therefore it's kind of one of those things that is much more prevalent. Gaming historians know of one other production run that came before NES-R, but it's unclear whether these NES-TM copies ever left Nintendo HQ or were stored in similarly boxed and sealed fashion. As Heritage itself claims in the auction's listing page, essentially this copy is the earliest sealed copy one could realistically hope to obtain. The company forgot to add the crucial "unless your dad works for Nintendo" tag there. The NES-R copy of Zelda was the highest highlight in Heritage's latest gaming auction spree, which as of press time includes the following jaw-dropping results, all for boxed and sealed gaming classics. The list of particularly high prices is largely attached to special indicators of a game's earliest production run, with two crucial circles in mind: the circular Nintendo seal of quality on early NES games and a round Nintendo branded sticker that guaranteed the box in question hasn't been opened yet, that surpasses the previous record holder, a rare sealed copy of the original Super Mario Bros., which sold for a staggering $660,000. Some highlights from the July auction at Heritage: Super Mario World for the Super NES, $360,000. Super Mario Bros. NES No Rev A, $228,000. Final Fantasy for the NES, $204,000. Mario Bros. For the NES, $156,000. Contra for the NES, $150,000. Super Mario Bros. 3 NES, a rare print of the brothers' text aligned to the left, $120,000. Final Fantasy III, $96,000. You see how this is going. A rare Nintendo World Championship cartridge sold at auction for $180,000. So dig in your basement or attic as a run of approximately 200. This NWC cart is one of the most rare you can find. On the other hand, it could be found at the bottom of a sack of boring trades, similar to what walked into Pink Gorilla Games in Seattle. The man, whose other trades included Russian Attack, California Games, and Spy Hunter, happily accepted the $13,000 offer on the spot.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We're back with Mr. Royce Wells, founder and CEO of Arbitrage Trade, otherwise known as the guy who writes my paychecks. Hey, Royce, I need a raise.
I can give you a raise so that way you make about $15 an hour.
How about no?
Are you sure? Have you done the math?
Yeah.
Well, most states are having to do that because of the employee shortage that they are having across the nation. Did you hear that restaurants, most retail, and almost all the travel industry is being forced to go to that $15 an hour? And a lot of people are biting at that.
It's a lot better than the nationwide minimum wage of $7.25.
Yeah, it's been there a while. I remember when the minimum wage was about $5.15, but that might be dating me just a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, across the nation, since the 2020 presidential election, a lot of people have been living off the new COVID money. So a lot of people are actually holding out, and they're like, no, 15 is not enough now. That was then. This is now.
That runs out in August, though. The extra $300 a week that unemployment has given us runs out in August. So people have to scramble.
Well, a little bit of that, but think about they're also subsidizing if you have children. They're giving you about $300 per child when that does run out. So it's back to back. It's like, hey, if you're going to keep giving, people are saying 15 is just not enough anymore. And the federal minimum wage, they're hoping that by, I think, 2026, that it's across the nation that is the minimum wage. But a lot of people, and basically where the income is, or the cost of living is lower, that's a big jump. But for places like California and Florida and New York, that's barely a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, if you look at our area here in Memphis, Tennessee, that's a decent increase.
Yeah.
Comparatively with retail, restaurants, and mostly lower wage workers. From what I understand, this really does help balance the racial scales as well. Black and Hispanic people have a tendency to benefit from this more than, say, Caucasians.
I heard that, and I know that like the average American home, believe it or not, the average American home across the U.S. only makes about $35,000 a year. That's average.
Wow.
So raising the minimum wage to $30, basically that's $30K. If you're making $15 an hour, that's roughly $30,000 a year. That's a big help, especially if both parents are working. You've almost doubled what you would otherwise be making. So now you're basically making what was the lower class, the middle class, by having this increase. But it is definitely needed because times and prices are not what they were like in the 90s and early 2000s.
There is inflation. We talked about the inflation from everything from building materials to meat to groceries, and it's horrible right now. But definitely something I think that's needed right now. And as a business owner, I'm sure that you can see that I need a raise, Royce.
Yes, I will definitely raise my voice at you quite
often.
Because,
I can do this and say, hey, more Arbitrage Trades State of the Bands weekend right after this.
Powers Not Included, the comic book podcast. A podcast about comics, games, toys, and everything geek. They talk about Deadpool, Deathstroke, Deathlock, the Night of the Living Dead, and The Walking Dead. Why the fixation on dead stuff? Find out when you subscribe to Powers Not Included on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Podbean.
Help.
Ayuda.
帮助.
Edem.
Help. In the wake of a disaster, there are many people from all backgrounds and all walks of life who need help. Help is available through FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. We're here to provide help to all those who need it. Help.
帮助. Edem.
帮助. Help. If you or someone you know has been affected by a disaster, call us at 800-621-FEMA. If your home or property has been damaged or destroyed, you've lost your job or income, or face other emergency needs, please call the Federal Emergency Management Agency at 800-621-FEMA. FEMA. Help is here.
A public service message brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome, traders, to Winners and Losers Biotech Edition. Our first winner with a 31% gain is a biopharmaceutical company that engages in the development of therapeutic monoclonal and biospecific antibodies for the treatment of various diseases. Its drug candidates include antibody-based therapeutics to treat patients with inflammatory diseases and various forms of cancer. Celldex, symbol CLDX, starts at $44 a share. Next, this winner up 30%, a clinical stage messenger RNA therapeutics company develops medicines to treat diseases caused by protein or gene dysfunction. The company is developing MRT 5005, which is in stage 1 or 2 clinical trial for the treatment of cystic fibrosis. It's also developing MRT 5500 for the treatment of SARS-CoV-2. The company was formerly known as Rana Therapeutics. In June 2017, they changed their name, have a collaboration and license agreement with Sanofi Pasteur Incorporated, founded in 2011 and is headquartered in Lexington, Massachusetts. Translate Bio, symbol TBIO, starts at $27.11 a share. Last, this winner up 21%, develops and commercializes bioprocessing technologies and systems for use in biological drug manufacturing processes in North America, Europe, the Asia Pacific, and internationally. It offers protein A ligands that are the binding components of protein A affinity chromatography resins and cell culture growth factor products. The company's chromatography products include Opus pre-packed chromatography columns, which are used in the purification of biologics, and Opus smaller scale columns that are used in the high throughput process development screening, viral clearance validation studies, and scale down validation of chromatography processes. Repligen, symbol RGEN, starts at $199.30. Losers were aplenty this week, but with a hefty 40% loss, this loser, a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company, focuses on the development and commercialization of therapeutics for cancer and age-related macular degeneration, fibrotic diseases here in the United States. Tracon Pharmaceuticals, symbol TCON, starts at $3.75 a share. And last but not least, at 34% down, this company acquires, develops, manufactures, and markets medical diagnostic products for the clinical laboratory and point-of-care segments of the diagnostic market of the United States, Africa, Asia, and Europe. The company offers clinical laboratory products, including diagnostic tests and instrumentation which detect infectious diseases such as Lyme disease, sexually transmitted diseases consisting of syphilis and herpes, SARS-CoV-2 and Epstein-Barr, measles, mumps, toxoplasmosis, cytomegalovirus, rubella, varicella, and other viral pathogens, as well as products for the in vitro diagnostic testing for hemoglobin A1C used in the monitoring and diagnosis of diabetes and identifying those who are at a risk of developing diabetes. Trinity Biotech, symbol TRIB, starts at $2.20 a share. Winners and Losers is provided for informational purposes only and does not constitute advice in trading. Percentages and stock prices were current at time of recording. Arbitrage Trade Analytics LLC is solely responsible for the content of this
92.
podcast.
180
but you should seek
over
out the assistance of a
111.
licensed
182
professional
over
for investment
100.
advice.
And I had a heart attack.
Up
and
next,
a
we'll
cardiac
go to
arrest.
Royce Wells one more
then a
time to
stroke.
talk about court records.
Your blood pressure numbers
and
could
my
change
day
your
in
life.
Courts. That's
A lot of
coming up
people
on
don't
Arbitrage Trade's
understand,
State of the Band's weekend.
including myself.
Now,
I didn't.
really,
Now I
on
do.
the weekends.
The
Yay!
impact.
Check us out anywhere you
of
find your
having
fine
a show.
podcasts, including
My memory
YouTube.
is shot.
Pretty cool, huh?
When I woke up, I couldn't speak.
Lowering your high blood pressure could save you from a heart attack or stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
It's a new life, but I'm going to make it better. I'm coming back. Ask your doctor, check your blood pressure.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
So, Royce, you know I did my public service last week, right?
I heard about that. You were missed.
I was almost on a jury. They did a lottery type thing where they had the numbers in a barrel and they just picked us out. And I was fortunate to be juror number 2 under consideration.
Oh, nice.
Apparently, the prosecution liked me, but the defense didn't. Oops.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
Hey.
But if I want to know about that case, I can actually take a look at public court records, can't I?
Yes. Just because it's public record doesn't necessarily mean it's free, though. You know they'll charge you for that, right?
I didn't know that.
Speaking of charging, actually, how much do you get paid for jury duty?
You know, I got $15 per day for being in the pool, and if I got selected to be on a jury, it was $50 a day.
Oh, that's better than what it used to be.
Arkansas.
Hey, that
Arkansas.
works. But let's go back and talk about court cases and basically public information that's not necessarily free.
Okay.
So, like, say, for example, you did get drafted and you did get put on that jury, right?
Right.
All right. So basically everything that's said, everything that's recorded, there's someone who's actually taking down that court record. And there are pages and pages of testimony and information that's been offered by both the defense and the plaintiff, right? The defense attorney and the prosecution. Well, did you know that they charge you literally 10 cents per page if you want the playback of that?
Wow.
Yeah.
That could be expensive.
Yeah, especially since it's per page, and that's a lot of talking. And imagine like the O.J. Simpson trial or the Michael Jackson trial or, Zuckerberg's trial, any of these guys. Every single thing that's written down, they're charging you 10 cents per page. But luckily, there's an online resource called Pacer, right? And basically, Pacer, you can go there to get those for about 10 cents per page. But there is another resource called Recap. Recap, how it works is basically anyone who uses Pacer, the first time they pull the record, they send a copy to Recap because guess what? Recap, spelled backwards, is Pacer.
Oh, I see what they did there.
And you get a recap of whatever the case was, and guess what? That is free.
Nice.
So they're doing their best to make things that are otherwise that prevent you from being able to do the type of research or have the information at your fingertips. People are every day trying to find ways to make that information available to anyone who may need it. The only catch is if you're the very first person to try to grab it from Recap and it's never been done before, there is a good chance that you might still have to pay for it.
You know what? You signed my paychecks. Apparently, I'm getting another $15 an hour, which is awesome. I like that. So I may just use Pacer, but Recap seems like a great alternative for people who may not be able to afford those huge court reports.
And I'm glad you said that, Josh, because, yes, you heard that, folks. He's going to be getting $15 for 1 hour. That's all.
Extra.
This is his final hour. Enjoy it, Josh. Enjoy
it. On that somber note, let's go ahead and end this week's State of the Bands weekend. I'm Josh. He's Royce. Have a great weekend.
That was extra.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What?
No!
Yep. And my dorky dad hat, and I'm gonna do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up.
See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time. What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Arbitrage Trade Analytics, LLC, is a privately held market research company. Arbitrage Trade Analytics, LLC, is solely responsible for the preparation and distribution of the content of this podcast. The opinions offered in this podcast are for informational purposes only and are not intended to be investment advice. Seek a duly licensed professional for investment advice. For more information about the informational research and services offered by Arbitrage Trade Analytics, LLC, please visit arbitrage